Ibrahim Traoré's midnight exit from Bosnia Faso rocked the global political scene. He quietly boarded a Russian state jet to Moscow while the world slept. This was no ordinary flight. It was a high-stakes, symbolic trip far beyond typical diplomatic missions. Why the secretive night departure? Why the Russian ambassador's midnight escort? Why is the world watching this young African leader's game-changing moves? These questions demand answers. We'll unpack the impact of Ibrahim Traoré's Moscow visit. Since taking power, Traoré's faced threats from all sides in Bosnia Faso. In the past 2 years, he's survived 18 assassination attempts and multiple coups. His name embodies unwavering patriotism, resistance, and sovereignty. No surprise his Moscow visit was cloaked in calculated risk and strategic secrecy. Witnesses say Russian officials were present as Ibrahim Traoré's heavily guarded plane took off from Adugu at midnight. This was more than a ceremonial farewell. It held significance. It symbolized a strengthened partnership, with high-ranking embassy officials present. What modern president has flown out at midnight on a foreign government's plane? Why did Russia choose to pick up Traoré personally in an Ushin 96 3000 presidential aircraft? Have Ukraine's drone attacks raised security concerns? Langley, a US general and Africa commander, accused him of using Burkina Faso's gold revenue for personal security. Global protests by African youth warned the West against meddling with Ibrahim Traoré. Perhaps Putin responded strongly to America on Ibrahim Traoré's behalf. Don't worry. I'll fly him to Moscow and protect him from squandering Burkina Faso's gold profits. What a response. Or was it a show of Traoré's new importance in the multipolar world? Landing at Nuovo Airport, he couldn't miss the crimson carpet. Top Russian officials stood nearby. With his weapon holstered, Ibrahim Traoré exited the plane in full military uniform, not a tailored suit. A bold visual statement. He arrived as a sovereign revolutionary, not a submissive guest. He's not just another visitor. Traoré stood out among leaders at Russia's 80th Victory Day in both appearance and substance. Moscow took notice. Ibrahim Traoré garnered significant attention in the Russian capital over the next 48 hours. He joined Putin's dinner with leaders like Xi Jinping, Maduro, Lula, and African heads of state. It was more than just etiquette and cuisine. The warmth between Putin and Traoré was evident. The Russian president thanked those present for supporting Russia in the face of danger, placing his hand on Traoré's shoulder. As Putin remembered the 27 million Soviet lives lost in World War II, his voice cracked slightly with emotion. The world realized this was more than just another memorial event. During these words of gratitude, it became a pivotal moment. The next day's victory parade unfolded in all its glory. Tanks rolled across Red Square. Fighter jets decorated the sky. Russia's flag fluttered among those of other nations. Once again, Ibrahim Traoré captured the attention of cameras and spectators. He stood stoically in uniform, his bare chest in stark contrast. A muscular torso, flanked by older presidents in heavy coats and formal suits. Yet none stood taller. The wreath-laying ceremony at the tomb of the unknown soldier followed. A moment of silence, a right to remember, perhaps the most moving part of Victory Day. Many leaders bowed respectfully as they laid wreaths at the eternal flame. The air seemed to pause as Ibrahim Traoré stepped forward. He gave a crisp military salute, not bowing. A soldier honoring soldiers, a revolutionary respecting those who fought for the nation. This salute, more than any speech, told a story in that moment. A moment of historic and personal significance, a declaration of unity. The symbolism was instantly clear to observers and analysts alike. Traoré's salute was more than respect at a memorial site. It was a gesture of brotherhood. The warriors' unspoken bond united the Burkinabe leader and Putin. Putin visibly fought back tears. Later, Putin addressed guests at the post-parade reception. He praised their courage, Soviet memory, and strength amid others' fear. Unnamed, but his gaze reportedly fixed on Ibrahim Traoré. In diplomacy, subtle gestures speak louder than applause. Traoré wore his military uniform while others donned elegant tuxedos. This visit was far more than just symbolism and spectacle. Ibrahim Traoré also met personally with Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela's president. The two shared a remarkable sense of camaraderie. They seemed like they'd been friends for ages. They grinned widely, shook hands warmly, and used expressive gestures. Both leaders are fighting the same battle. They fought for national self-determination, faced sanctions, and Western isolation. Their meeting went beyond mere diplomacy. It was a summit to strengthen resilience. Maduro and Traoré discussed countering Western narratives through various means. Maduro even called Traoré a brave African lion, inspiring Bosnia's leadership and the continent's youth. The strategic alignment was clear and mutual respect genuine. Is this the start of a new axis of autonomous states, united by resistance and desire for independence? News of Traoré's Moscow efforts sparked a new wave of pride in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Videos of Traoré joking with Mado, dining with Putin, and saluting monuments went viral on social media. Hashtags like Troya, the Lion, and Africa Rises trended on West African websites. Viewing parties for the events were held in Bobo de Alasso and Ouagadougou. For many young Africans, Ibrahim Traoré is more than just a president. He's a prime example of what happens when vision meets courage. But what does this mean for Burkina Faso's long-term growth and foreign policy? Economically, Traoré's visit is impossible to ignore. Beyond celebrations, talks of Russian investments in mining, energy, and agriculture were reported. Tech transfer deals for irrigation and rural growth, plus plans for a Russian energy complex in Ouagadougou, are on the table. Analysts caution that these partnerships must be balanced. Relying on a single ally can be risky. Traoré's government seems aware, making calculated moves to engage China, Iran, Venezuela, and Turkey alongside Russia. Burkina Faso aims to diversify growth through new alliances and reduce former colonial powers' influence. This could be the most promising approach. In a world becoming increasingly multipolar, African leaders' attempts to realign foreign policy faced swift opposition. Thomas Sankara, a Burkinabe rebel, was ousted in 1987 for daring to chart his own course and resist Western dominance. Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, Patrice Lumumba in Congo, and Julius Nyerere in Tanzania all faced external destabilization. It seems Traoré has learned from their mistakes. He surrounds himself with dedicated young officers and strong allies ready to fend off any interference. As global power dynamics shift, the world increasingly watches Burkina Faso. Can a small West African nation led by a 36-year-old soldier truly alter the course of global relations? Will a continent weakened by foreign interests use its Moscow visit as a turning point? The answer might be yes. In the past 48 hours in Moscow, Ibrahim Traoré showed leadership goes beyond following rules. From a midnight departure to a defiant salute at fallen heroes' graves, it's about principles and presence. Do you think Traoré's actions set a precedent for Africa's future? Could this spark a new resistance movement to restore the continent's honor? Or is it a bold gamble with unforeseen consequences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Ibrahim Traoré's journey is far from over. One thing's clear, he acts with purpose, be it a soldier's salute or a midnight flight. And the world can't look away. The journey began on September 30th, 2022, when military discontent led to a coup against interim President Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba. Damiba had taken power earlier that year, promising to end the jihadist insurgency. His lack of results, however, led to growing unrest. Traoré, then a captain, led the patriotic movement for protection and restoration, vowing to restore security and national integrity. One of Traoré's key moves was expelling French forces from Burkina Faso. France had long maintained a military presence in the region, allegedly to combat terrorism. Many in Burkina Faso viewed this presence as a remnant of colonial influence. In early 2023, Traoré called for French troop withdrawal, signaling a shift to a more autonomous defense strategy. In another sovereign move, Burkina Faso, under Traoré's leadership, left the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. With Mali and Niger, it formed the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, in September 2023. This union aims to boost regional security and economic cooperation without external interference. Additionally, Burkina Faso's government has launched ambitious economic reforms. Considering foreign currency dependence, they discussed introducing a new independent currency for the AES. This reduces reliance on the France-linked West African CFA franc and promotes self-sufficiency. In September 2023, a coup attempt by rebel military was thwarted. The government arrested plotters, affirming its commitment to stability. Another coup attempt in January 2024 was foiled, showing Traoré's resilience against threats in Burkina Faso. President Traoré's movements are marked by strict security measures. After several coup attempts, his government tightened security protocols. He often changes residence and limits public appearances, especially at night, to reduce risks. Despite precautions, President Traoré stays actively engaged in national affairs. In April 2024, he visited Bobo Dioulasso to launch major infrastructure projects. including roads and a textile complex. These visits often draw enthusiastic crowds, showcasing his commitment to development and connection with the people. Internationally, Traoré's trips highlight Burkina Faso's changing alliances and assertive foreign policy. His first foreign trip was to Mali in November 2022 to boost anti-terrorism cooperation. In July 2023, he joined the Russia-Africa Summit, signaling a pivot towards Russian partnership on security issues. During a diplomatic visit to Ghana, President Traoré turned heads by wearing his military uniform and visibly carrying a sidearm. Though unconventional, this gesture was seen as showing his commitment to security and sovereignty, aligning with his government's themes of self-reliance and resilience. Traoré's radical policy shift triggered numerous coup attempts, fueled by internal dissent and foreign interests. These threats necessitated a sophisticated security detail for the president, especially during his travels. Whether flying abroad with military escort or traveling domestically in secure convoys, each measure protects the leader, both a national asset and target. Traoré's travel preparations aren't just about security, they're symbolic. They represent his presidency's high stakes, resistance to neo-colonial influence, and Burkina Faso's resolve to protect its sovereignty-seeking leader. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.